The time is finally here. Rocksteady's final installment of the Arkham trilogy has arrived. I'm going to be clear, this is not a review factoring in the issues of the PC port. I reviewed this on the Xbox One and as such will base my opinion on my experiences with that. From the very first scene, this game grabs you by the throat and refuses to let go, oozing atmosphere, detail and suspense in a way that the world's greatest detective can truly shine. Driving rain shimmers and shoots off your cape as you survey a massive open world Gotham City. Steam rises from subterranean tunnels and vents into the night sky, and moonlight bathes the decaying rooftops of old churches and rundown factories, to contrast the massive skyscrapers and housing developments spreading further afield. Each corner and alley of this game has had particular attention paid to it, complete with graffiti, debris, grime and Easter eggs galore for all DC Comics devotees. Without doubt this is one of the best looking games to grace new systems, and it performs surprisingly well. I haven't encountered a single loading screen whilst traversing the massive open world and moving from waypoint to waypoint mid-mission. The setup is simple. Scarecrow has created a new fear toxin and is threatening full-scale chemical warfare on Gotham, with the help of an army of mercenaries led by the mysterious and sinister Arkham Knight, who in particular seems obsessed with eliminating Batman. The city has been evacuated, and it's up to Batman, with the help of a few returning allies, to save Gotham before it's too late. The story, for the most part, is thoroughly entertaining and full of twists and turns, harkening back to the fallout after Arkham City, and the toll the burden of the cowl has taken on Bruce Wayne, whose own psyche is constantly at war with the stoic Dark Knight Gotham desperately needs. You realise perhaps for the first time just how much our hero has sacrificed personally for the greater good, and it really hits home in some great scenes throughout the first and second act. Sadly, the same cannot be said for the game's rather underwhelming final act, which drops a few too many hints for its own good, and as such spoils many of the twists and turns in the conclusion. Many of Gotham's infamous supervillains play a part, but none feel truly important to the story unless you desperately want to see all of the game's 3 different endings, one of which requires you to collect all 243 Riddler trophies, and seems purely an exercise in tedium. That being said, these side missions are fun and provide great insight into the Batman lore, as well as the bonus of being able to meet up with and play as some of your favourite allies like Nightwing and Catwoman, who each have their own distinctive fighting styles and personalities. Which brings us on to arguably the finest combat system ever implemented into a game. Rocksteady's defining prowess in this field and its influence on other franchises can never be ignored, and it's back and better than ever in Arkham Knight. Easy to use, difficult to master, beautifully animated and endlessly rewarding. No other game makes you feel quite like Arkham Knight does. Combining stealth, gadgets, speed, technique and brute force with total satisfaction, combat is executed flawlessly, rewarding players for planning their approach by sabotaging enemy gear with gadgets like the Disruptor, luring a militia member close enough for a silent takedown with the voice synthesizer, or swooping in, tossing gadgets and combining techniques against different enemy units to ultimately take them down. When done right, you feel like a force of nature. Enemy patrol patterns change, as does their behaviour. When you've picked off all his friends and one guard is left cowering alone in the dark, absolutely terrified, there's something truly special about silently swooping behind him and watching his horror as he turns around to see Batman standing right there, only for him to drop his gun and run away screaming like a little girl. For all its pluses though, sometimes enemy unit placement and design, particularly in the latter stages of the game, feels dated, with Rocksteady simply throwing bigger and tougher packs of unique and annoying enemies, like medics, brutes, shock troopers and ninja mercenaries at you, each requiring different takedowns and strategies, stacking the odds further and further against you, reaching the next mission checkpoint. To those familiar with the franchise, this isn't a surprise, but for newcomers it could be frustrating. With such a massive world to explore, it was only right that the Cape Crusader finally got some worthy wheels, and the Batmobile is finally here. A hybrid of the Nolan-style tumbler and more traditional contemporary designs, this beast is a force to be reckoned with. Eye-wateringly fast, at very rare intervals to the detriment of the frame rate, and ridiculously powerful. By holding the left trigger, it transforms into a side-strafing tank with 360-degree movement and a plethora of weapons, including a 60mm cannon, non-lethal stun rounds, a machine gun and various gadgetry including dash boosters to avoid incoming fire, an EMP to temporarily disable nearby enemy drones, and a virus uploader which lets you hack those units, forcing them to turn on each other. It's immensely fun to play around with, but is overemphasized too much, particularly in the setup and delivery of the story. Disarming enemy mines and the ensuing tank battles with the Arkham Knight's forces can be fun at first, but soon becomes a chore, encouraging you to take a break and go back to the story or other side quests. And the various Riddler races in subterranean Gotham can be frustrating, especially if you haven't mastered handling the vehicle properly, which has a rather odd default control scheme, which is thankfully changeable in the options. Overall, the Batmobile is a great addition to your arsenal of toys, but feels shoehorned into the story and puzzles at times that it could be mistaken for lazy design, offering you no other options to bypass certain points other than by using it. In conclusion, Batman Arkham Knight is an excellent game. It's not without its flaws and perhaps doesn't reach the storytelling heights of its predecessors, but it's beautiful, fun, atmospheric and immersive in a way Rocksteady has never achieved before, and a fitting conclusion to an excellent series. I'm giving this game an 8 out of 10. It's great and it's definitely worth picking up. Thanks for listening. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want more good content, including reviews, previews, podcasts and various other stuff from 4Gamers vs. the World. I'm the Sofa Soldier. I'll see you in the next one.